In November 2020, a submersible named Fendouzhe, in English Striver, descended into the Challenger Deep and touched the bottom of the Mariana Trench at 10,909 meters. 3 people were inside. They stayed for 6 hours. When they surfaced, the chief designer of the program stood before a press conference and said something that almost no one outside China paid attention to. He said, "The bottom of the Mariana Trench was full of resources." He said they were going to make a treasure map. He said China had arrived at the deepest place on Earth and intended to stay. The world moved on. There were other headlines. But the program did not stop. It accelerated. By October 2025, Chinese state media announced that Fendouzhe had achieved what they called routine operations at full ocean depth. Not expeditions, not milestones, routine. The way a commercial airline describes a transatlantic crossing. The bottom of the Mariana Trench, the most hostile, most isolated, most lethal environment on the surface of this planet, had become, in the language of Chinese state media, routine. And then, on a dive that was not announced in advance and has not been fully explained since, the signal stopped. What if China's submersible never came back? Before you go down, you need to understand what it takes to reach the bottom of the world. The Challenger Deep sits at the southern end of the Mariana Trench, 10,909 meters below the surface of the Pacific Ocean. The pressure at that depth is 1,086 atmospheres, 11,000 times the pressure at sea level. It is the equivalent of 50 commercial Boeing 747s stacked on top of every square centimeter of your body simultaneously. No human technology was designed to operate in those conditions intuitively. Everything that goes to full ocean depth, every sensor, every viewport, every hull weld, every hydraulic line, must be engineered specifically to survive a pressure that would flatten a conventional submarine in milliseconds. Fendouzhe is a titanium sphere, 1.8 meters in diameter, surrounded by syntactic foam, a material made of microscopic hollow glass beads suspended in resin, which provides buoyancy without compressing under extreme pressure. The sphere carries 3 people. It has no room to stand, no room to pace. The entire habitable volume is approximately the size of a large wardrobe. To descend, Fendouzhe releases ballast weights and falls freely through 11 kilometers of water. The descent takes approximately 4 hours. During that time, the crew cannot steer. They cannot arrest the descent. They fall, in darkness and silence, at the mercy of the water column above them and the rock below. Communication is acoustic, transmitted through the water column as sound pulses, compressed and delayed and distorted by the physics of deep water. A message from the surface takes minutes to arrive. The response takes minutes to return. Conversation is not possible. Only data, only telemetry, only the knowledge that the signal is still there, which means the crew is still alive. When the signal stops, you do not know why. You only know that it has stopped. You have made this dive 4 times. The first time, your hands shook during the descent. The second time, you noticed details you had missed. The specific quality of the bioluminescence at 6,000 meters. The way the water changes color from deep blue to absolute black as the last photon surrenders to the weight above it. The third time, you slept for 2 of the 4 hours of descent. The fourth time, this time, you are the mission commander. There are 3 of you in the sphere. Dr. Liang Wei at the portside viewport, running biological sampling protocols. Engineer Zhao Fang at the systems station, monitoring the 17 subsystems that keep the sphere habitable. And you, in the center, watching the acoustic modem display that connects you to the surface support vessel Tansuo Yihao, 11 kilometers above. The descent begins at 0614 local time. By 0800, you have passed through the midnight zone. The external cameras show nothing but marine snow, the endless fall of organic particles from the sunlit world above. At this depth, it has been falling for months before reaching you. Everything outside is ancient and slow and indifferent. At 0947, the bottom pressure recorder registers proximity to the sea floor. You begin the deceleration sequence, releasing forward ballast, adjusting trim. The thrusters engage. The descent slows. At 1003, the landing struts touch the gray silt of the Challenger Deep. 10,909 meters, the deepest point on Earth. You transmit the confirmation signal to the surface. The surface acknowledges. The mission clock begins. For the first 2 hours, everything is nominal. Dr. Liang deploys the sampling arms, collecting sediment cores from the gray silt around the landing site. The silt at this depth is not like beach sand. It is foraminifera ooze, the compressed shells of single-celled organisms that have been raining down from the surface ocean for millions of years. Each centimeter of it is a geological archive. Each core sample contains more biological information than a year of surface surveys. Engineer Zhao runs diagnostics. All 17 systems green. CO2 scrubbers nominal. O2 partial pressure nominal. Sphere integrity nominal. Acoustic modem signal strong. Outside the viewport, the marine snow drifts. A pale amphipod, translucent, eyeless, perfectly adapted to a world of zero light and maximum pressure, scuttles across the silt in front of the camera. It has no name in any language, because it was only formally described to science 14 months ago. You watch it and think about what it means to be native to this place. Then, at 12:14, Engineer Zhao says your name, not loudly, quietly. The specific quietness of a trained professional who does not want to alarm the person they are about to alarm. He points at the system's display. The acoustic modem signal indicator, green for the entire mission, has shifted to amber. Not red, amber. Degraded, not lost. The signal is still there, but it is weaker than it should be. You key the transmit button and send a status query to the surface. You wait. The normal response time is 4 minutes. The physics of acoustic transmission through 11 kilometers of water. At minute 8, you send the query again. At minute 14, the indicator shifts from amber to red. The signal is gone. Let me tell you what silence means. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench. On the surface, silence is the absence of sound. It is peaceful. It is something you can choose and unchoose by opening a window or turning on a radio. At 10,909 meters, silence is structural. It means the one thread connecting you to the world above the acoustic modem, the only communication technology that functions at this depth, has been severed. It means the surface support vessel does not know your status. It means the emergency protocols that the mission planners rehearsed, abort signal, emergency ascent, ballast release, cannot be transmitted and cannot be received. It means you are, in the most complete sense that any three humans have ever experienced, alone. You run the diagnostic on the acoustic modem. The modem itself is functioning. The transducer is functioning. The signal is being transmitted, but nothing is returning. Which means the problem is not in the sphere. The problem is above you. There are three possible explanations. The first, a mechanical failure in the surface vessel's acoustic receiving equipment. Recoverable. The vessel will switch to backup systems and re-establish contact within the hour. The second, the surface vessel has moved off station, driven by weather, or a navigation error, or an operational decision made without communicating it downward first. Recoverable. They will reposition. Contact will return. The third explanation is the one you do not say out loud, because saying it changes something in the sphere that cannot be changed back. You focus on the diagnostics. You focus on the systems displays. You focus on the marine snow outside the viewport. Still falling, indifferent, ancient, exactly as it has fallen for 10,000 years before this moment, and will fall for 10,000 years after. Engineer Zhao looks at you. You tell him to begin the contingency protocol.
Here is what you have.
Oxygen. The CO2 scrubbers and O2 system are designed for a maximum dive duration of 16 hours from departure. You have been in the water for 6 hours and 12 minutes. You have, under nominal conditions, 9 hours and 48 minutes of breathable atmosphere remaining. Power. The battery system is at 71%. Nominal consumption at full depth hotel load, life support, computers, external lights, is approximately 4% per hour. At reduced load, survivable minimum, you can extend that to 6 hours per percent. Under strict conservation mode, you have power for approximately 22 hours. Ballast. The emergency ascent system, 2 independent mechanisms for releasing the ballast weights that keep you on the seafloor, is fully functional. If you release ballast now, you will begin ascending immediately. The ascent to the surface will take approximately 3 to 4 hours. If the surface vessel is not there when you arrive, you will be floating in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, in a titanium sphere with no propulsion, waiting for a rescue that does not know where you are. The decision is this: wait here, in contact with nothing, using your consumables, hoping the surface reestablishes contact, or ascend now on your own timeline and surface into uncertainty. You have enough oxygen for approximately 9 more hours of waiting. After that, the math stops working in your favor. You tell Engineer Zhao to maintain current depth for 2 hours. If no contact by 14:15, you will initiate emergency ascent. Dr. Liang has not stopped running her sampling protocols. You watch her work for a moment and understand that she is doing it because having something to do is the only thing that keeps the sphere from becoming a very small room at the bottom of the world where 3 people wait to find out if they are going to die. You begin your own diagnostics. There is nothing wrong with any system. The silence continues. At 1347, 27 minutes before your self-imposed deadline, something appears on the external camera. Not a creature, not a geological feature, not marine snow. A light, faint, moving, approximately 30 meters from the sphere, at the edge of the camera's range. Too regular to be bioluminescence, too consistent to be a reflection artifact. Moving slowly, in a pattern, back and forth, as if searching. Engineer Zhao sees it at the same time. Neither of you says anything for a moment. Then he says, "It could be one of our own survey drones, on a pre-programmed autonomous protocol. If the acoustic modem failure was one-directional, if the surface can hear you, but you cannot hear them, they may have deployed a relay drone to re-establish the link. It is a reasonable explanation. It is the explanation you choose to act on, because the other explanations, the ones that begin with, 'What else could be moving?' at 10,909 meters in the Challenger Deep, are not productive right now." You activate the exterior floodlights on full. The light in the distance does not respond, does not approach, does not flee. It continues its slow searching pattern in the dark. At 1401, the acoustic modem indicator shifts from red to amber. A broken signal, fragmented, barely decodable. But there, you transmit your status. Position nominal, crew nominal. Requesting confirmation of surface vessel status. You wait. At 1409, 13 minutes before your deadline, the surface responds. The message is fragmented, delayed, partially corrupted by whatever is interfering with the acoustic channel, but you can read enough of it. Tansuo Yihao is on station. Acoustic array malfunction, both primary and secondary. They have been transmitting to you continuously. They have been receiving nothing. They deployed a relay beacon 40 minutes ago. The light in the distance is the relay beacon. You exhale. Engineer Zhao exhales. Dr. Liang does not look up from her samples. Contact is re-established at 1417. Full signal restored at 1431, when the relay beacon positions itself in the optimal relay geometry between sphere and surface. You complete the sample collection. You begin the ascent sequence at 1503. You reach the surface at 1847. The sky is orange with late afternoon light. The Tansuo Yihao is 200 meters off your bow. You open the hatch. The air, real air, ocean air, warm and humid and full of salt and noise, hits you like something physical. This is the version where the signal came back, where the relay beacon reached you in time, where the malfunction was mechanical, not catastrophic, where the light in the dark was yours. But the acoustic systems of Fendouzhe and Tansuo Yihao failed simultaneously for 55 minutes at full ocean depth. 55 minutes in which 3 people at 10,909 meters had no connection to the surface world. And in those 55 minutes, the only decision that mattered, wait or ascend, had a deadline of 9 hours and 48 minutes, counting down from the moment the signal went red. The margin was not the problem. The margin was fine. The problem is what the 55 minutes revealed. China is conducting routine operations at the deepest point on Earth. Routine, as in this happens regularly, as in people go down there and come back, and the program continues, and the dives are logged, and the samples are processed, and the treasure map is being drawn. And the thing that keeps those people connected to the world above, the acoustic modem, the signal through 11 kilometers of water, failed on a routine dive with no warning for 55 minutes. Not because the technology is bad. The technology is extraordinary. The technology is the reason the signal came back. But Fendouzhe is going deeper into a program that is accelerating. More dives, longer durations, larger crews, eventual permanent habitation, the deep sea space station that is already in development, already funded, already scheduled. And at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, in the gray silt of the Challenger Deep, there is no rescue. There is no contingency that works if the math runs out. There is no one to call and nowhere to go, and the water above you is 11 kilometers of physics that does not negotiate. The surface looks the same when you come back as it did when you left. The ocean does not record what happened below it, but you do. And the program continues. What if China's submersible never came back? The technology says it could happen. The margin says it hasn't yet. The program says it will keep going deeper. In the comments, how long before a human being dies at the bottom of the Mariana Trench? Is it inevitable, or is the engineering already good enough? And subscribe to HADAL before the signal goes red.